home to get the mage well. I should have grabbed it on the way out the door. I thought about it, but and I'm looking at our Christmas lights. Again, this year we have the leg lamp in the window and Sugan's inflatables.
Except for you.
Today my reporter called in sick, so I didn't have any live shots this morning. So I played with my Mage well, reinstalled it in the car, and got it set up to go. And that is this thing and this poor light. See if I can turn it on. Mage well. And it's a mini switcher. It has two HDMI inputs and two what they call UVC inputs, which is not that one. Well, maybe it is that one. It's been so long, I haven't played with this thing since it's been down. Essentially, UVC is you plug in something like a web camera. Select, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing here. But you plug in like a web camera, like my it works with my what do you call those? DJI cameras, which is really nice. And what's good about this thing, well, what I was testing this morning, what's bad is you see that video output, that's also UVC, and I have a cord for it and it works, but I don't know where I put it. It's been so long. It's probably at home, so I could only get so far. I couldn't actually test it with the TVU, but I've used it before, the TVU. What I was looking for today is to see if your master input, which is usually your number one input, which I believe is HDMI 1, you should set it to whatever setting you want it to be. And there's an app for my iPhone, a professional video camera app that allows you to do drop frame, which is what they need back at the ranch. The engineers say they want drop frame video, which I don't understand all the mechanics of that, but it's something about time-based correction. And Blackmagic makes a free app you can download into your iPhone, and it turns it into a professional video camera that allows drop frame. So I was running the video out of the phone into the number one source, and I was wanting to see if it would replicate the drop frame all the way to the TVU. But since I don't have the cable I need, I wasn't able to test that. So, and that's what I pretty much did this morning. And now I have to go home, look for that cable, and then turn right around and go take this car over to have tires put on it, because it's in bad need of tires. Don't frickin' know what just happened. They tried to use fleet service, and the fleet service never bothered to call back, wasting my time. So they lost business I'm never using that fleet service. I got a card right here I can use. Should have done that in the first place. Bull crap. People in their bureaucracy don't need to have business. They could just... This was my first instinct anyway, is to come here, because they've given me good service. Done, finally. You know, I stressed out probably too much, more than I should have, but it's just from being a moon day and having to take care of this and being sleepy and wanting it to just be done. And, you know, and I don't need the bowl. Either do it or don't, you know. So I'm going to maybe stress eat over here. I haven't had this in a while.
How are you?
Pretty good. How you doing? Oh, thank you. Oh, thanks. I'm being watched. Oh, a deer. Last and not least, got this volunteer group that's distributing clothes and shoes here in Olathe to underprivileged kids. And there they go. They just got done loading bags of goodies and stuff, shoes. We have our program in a house at the station. Donated some shoes to the cause. They're right downtown in Olathe. And this hopefully is my last story of the day. Time to get out of here. Got to get back to the station and drop off my clips and head. I used, and I've been doing it more these days, I've been using my Osmo Action because, as the name implies, action, it is best for action shots. The stabilization on that it's better than the Osmo Pocket 3. It's a digital stabilization, you know, computer enhanced kind of deal, but it really works for when people are moving around a lot. You get a lot of shots really fast. You got to try to remember to get some cutaway shots and things like that, which I'm not always great at, but you can get really, really creative, and the setup for doing creative shots is nothing at all. The only problem is you get in a hurry and then you do the how would they call that? Double click. I'm saying the wrong thing. It's where you start rolling on all your setup, and you don't roll on what you actually intended on rolling on. But even with that, I got plenty, and I got some pretty creative shots, like the cart going over to the camera. And that's what's great about it. It's a small, very small camera, but the quality is great. It's got a 1-inch sensor, and so you put it under the cart and tell them to drive over the top of it and try not to hit your camera with their wheels, and man, And you can put it in the bags and have them close the bag. Just stuff like that, you know. So crazy shots that make the story kind of come alive, which is what we're after. Make people kind of go, oh, that's neat, you know. Hopefully it helps tell the story, doesn't take away from the story. But anyways, heading back to the ranch. Getting an SD card for my Magewell. And this is where I'm going. Gotta get something at Costco, a hard drive. And maybe while I'm here, get me a little light lunch. It appears to be busy for a what? Still, well, Tuesday afternoon. Oop, come on. There, Tuesday afternoon at Costco. Light lunch. And the last errand for today is Menards. Well, let me tell ya. I really came in here just to get the soup, but I thought that window that we have, watch your kid, mister. That window where we have our leg lamp, it doesn't look right because of the way the lights are. They don't go all the way down and they're kind of half-assed there. So I thought if there was like a little lighted decoration we could put on the bottom and then make the lights go straight across, it might look better. But and I found something just right. Everything is going on sale. They're trying to sell out of all their Christmas decorations, and they're pretty much done it. Ugh. Man, they're already onto their spring sales, and you know, I'm starting to see Easter stuff. Oh, yeah. I don't know why we just can't be in the moment, but then, you know, that's not the marketing way, because you got to sell out of everything. You don't want to have to sell it or the fire sale in the end. You lose money, so I guess. So anyway, now it's time to go home. Jeepers. Jeepers. So Zach got up on the ladder and put the Christmas lights on. I helped him, but he's the one that did the heavy stuff with the ladder. I don't think it looks too bad. Now we need lights over here. 9. Now we're getting ready to do a live shot at the Jackson County Courthouse, but all the parking has been rearranged, so I'm thinking further out and getting more or less a shot from further away. I don't know if I can do this without upsetting everything. But there we are, right there. Courthouse. Alright, so this morning was our live shot was at the county courthouse, and it was pretty cool because the wind was blowing, even though the ambient temperature is not that low. And here in Westport, I love this shop here. It's a Survivor. It's been there since 1961, so it says. Let's get something hot to drink. Coffee. Oh. Coffee. you doing? I just got out of our work Xmas party, and I ate too much, and that's what else can you say? Saw a lot of people I work with, and a lot of people that I never get to see, and then some people I honestly don't know who they are. You know how that goes, because you work in different shifts, different departments, and this year I went because my shift changed, and so the party happened at about the time I'm getting off, so that's about perfect. It was fun, it was nice, but now it's time to go home, and I don't know, I've been extra tired lately, maybe doing too much, so need to go home and get some Z's. Zzz. They made some improvements in the software. And that's what I'm recording through right now is the Mage Well. So this is all live as it's happening. I don't know if I'm able to get my clock to work on this thing. I messed with that yesterday, but anyway, that's what we're doing. Woo-hoo. This is our live shot location. I love it. Look at this gas station. That is a real old school gas station even. I mean, look at the Art Deco details, and yeah, something about this just makes me feel actually Christmassy. This is here in Brookside, and Brookside itself is always done up really nice. Here's the street we're looking down. Yep, good place for Christmas cheer. So we're being creative this morning. Yeah, gas price stories usually lend themselves to visuals, and so I'm moving the car into the gas pumps. I hope that there isn't anybody that comes here that needs to get this particular pump. I don't think they should. That's fine. But gotta get it positioned in a way so we can actually see it. Woo! All right. Hee hee. All right, it is time to get a hot drink. I think if I can find some packing. Oh, here's the spot opening up, maybe. I don't know, sometimes when you pull up on somebody, they when they're leaving, they sit in their car forever. Not this time. Coolness. Rockstar. Cha-cha-cha. Lucky for me. Look at that. Woohoo. Alrighty then. Hee hee. Look at the morning. Coffee. kind of crowded there for a bit. I was almost like double booked. I was having to rush a shoot, which I don't like to do. But, we're doing a story about generosity in Kansas City, a Boy Scout project. Collected some coats and got a lot of them for women's shelter, the City Union Mission here on the northeast side. There's always these big, beautiful houses around here, and a lot of them are unfortunately vacant or in not great shape, and somebody squats in them and starts a fire, and we end up with less and less of these beautiful older homes. Oh, here we are on 12th Street. 12th Street's interesting. Let me, I forget that I should do this. And then I forget that I have it. But right about here, and this reminds me of Christmas a lot too, because I did a pretty good Christmas story here. But this is all pretty much done by the Gates family. They're like, I believe their headquarters are here. And this little strip mall that was developed by the Gates family, and they really moved into the neighborhood and are trying to do good and develop things. In this house right here, what's her name? What is her name? The first African American woman millionaire. She made her fortune off of oil in Oklahoma, and that was the house she built, and I can't remember her name. And this is the famous 12th Street and Vine area. And the sad history of this area is that this was the area where the African American Entertainment District was, and so they have the Jazz District at 18th and Vine, but 18th and Vine was more or less the business district. This was the hot spot for a lot of the clubs and everything where entertainers would play. And in the late 30s, the morally upright people of Kansas City decided they didn't like that in their town anymore, and they didn't like anything. They had Tom Pendergast arrested on gambling charges and hauled off to jail, and they came through, I believe it was through here, with brooms saying they're going to clean up Kansas City, and by that they mean they shut down all the bars and clubs, and musicians could not get work, and whatever was morally offending people, they shut it down. And then essentially they came in and tore down everything. I mean, not right away, more like in the 50s and 60s, and built government housing projects, which are not the greatest thing in the world to take all the poor people in town and move them into one area that more or less looks like a prison block. And the notorious Kansas City housing project was called Wayne Minor, and that was right in this area. And they eventually tore that down after it was a terrible eyesore. And so I guess that's sort of the sad roundup of the sad history of what was once a mecca of musical creativity. And of course, there was an organized crime aspect to that, and we're talking about racism and institutional racism and organized and concentrated poverty and all that good stuff, which on the one hand, lent itself to a lot of human activity that was very creative, but on the other hand, it was a lot of suffering and still is. It still affects the city to this day. I mean, they basically, in addition to building the projects and stuff, they bulldozed a lot of poor neighborhoods to build the highways. And, you know, the highways, of course, I use the term gerrymandered, were, you know, gerrymandered right through the poorest neighborhoods. Many of them had historic qualities to it, and, you know, just bulldoze it and get rid of it. And you know, the U.S. interstate highway system is the nickname is Rich Man's Road Through Poor Man's Neighborhoods. And you don't see the highways being built through the middle of the wealthier neighborhoods. You don't see it go right through the heart of Brookside or Mission Hills or anything else like that. You see it go right through the poor neighborhoods. Anyway, kind of a penny tour of the seedier side of life, the darker side, and I don't mean anything other than, you know, human darkness, the opposite of light. And, you know, it's fitting at wintertime we have Christmas at wintertime, the season of lights. It's actually a Roman tradition, the Saturnalia, and that's this time of year because, you know, in the northern part of the planet, when it's getting darker, days are short and nights are long, you need light to chase away the blues and depression and everything. Anyway, so I'm rambling now. I'm going to stop doing that and go home. It is really blustery, and I heard the weather service on the scanner say it's going to be single digits. Whatever they call that. It's going to feel like single digits tomorrow. Great, just in time for my live shots. Peppermint tea with honey. Tea. We're in Lee Summit this morning, doing a school district story. And as always, I like to look at the pretty lights. Didn't necessarily mean to come down here, made a wrong turn. Trusting my GPS too much. Look at the pretty lights. Ooh, we just blazed over here from other live shot location. It's Car Santa giving away cars, and we'll be live at 6:30. It's a cold Friday. What that means. Ooh. Time for the topic. If I can get around here. Topic.
We are sassified.
See what else is new in town. Saw a lot of new murals. Ooh, excuse me. Welcome to downtown Warrensburg. Well, showing a little pride, I guess. It's a beautiful downtown. If not always very active. And it looks like they got some good Christmas lights going too. A lot of attorneys around here by the courthouse. Murals some touching up. Brown's Shoe Fit Company. They're still around. Oops, blew through that stop sign. Yeah, fine. Blackadder 2. Looks empty. Blackwater Barbershop. And here's the bar street. I'm gonna think probably go to the antique store first. If there's parking up here. You know, it's still pretty cold. It's like 30 degrees. It's not as cold as it was this morning, but it's still quite chilly. Well, for some reason, somebody's got all the parking taken up with cones. Don't know what that's about. There's a parking spot. Nope, that's not. Fine. There's some parking down here in the city lot. Looks like there's another city lot over here too. And there's a couple of spots right there on the street. Alrighty. Looks like we found our spot. We are docked. Nada. Well, it's not so super cold, at least in the sun. I need to go pee, so I think my first stop is actually going to be the train station. Yep. I've spent much time here. That's a mildly humorous sign. Well, I guess Amtrak has made some changes here. Looks like you have to go on this platform here to catch the train. I wonder if the station is still open. Oh, spent a lot of time here looking at the backs of these buildings. Well, that's a good sign. Boorish is still here. Wonder what the district is all about. Here's my antique store. Yeah, see, I'm not much in the mood for shopping actually, but I got one of the kids something I hope he appreciates. But yeah, I don't know. Something that happened in November is kind of putting a damper on my enthusiasm. Something is killing my battery on my phone. I think it was it wasn't really charging in the car when I was using it all that time, but yeah, I can get out of here without getting killed. Rush hour in Warrensburg. I used to come to the corner cafe. They've been closed for years, unfortunately. Let's go check out the Salvation Army here. Such a pretty town. And I'd be remiss if I didn't come visit Old Drum and see the beautiful old courthouse. If you don't know about Old Drum, essentially it's where the quote the dog is a man's best friend, came from, in Johnson County, Missouri courthouse. But Old Drum trial took place in the old courthouse. See, I'm not making it up. At least other people agree with me. Let's try this store. Maybe find something for Aunt Cian. Got something for the missus. And I'm reaching my goal of shopping small too. Let's try this place. Magnolia Mercantile. I think this may have been Slaggers at one time. I think I'm gonna try this for coffee before I head home. Coffee. I have opted for the tomato bisque soup. Looks good. Soup. So let's do a little downtown driving tour and see how the lights stack up here. It's not as spectacular as, like, say, Lee Summit, but it's quaint. This is Holden Street, which is actually the main street, and I don't think there is a main street. Yeah, there is a main street. It's up by the old courthouse, which is up on the hill. And I can't remember which way you go into the station. Here's the depot. I don't know if it matters. Well, if I go the wrong, yep, there is a one-way. There's City Hall. City Hall and the police station. At least that's how I remember it. Things could have changed, but by the looks of some of the cars around here, I believe it's still, well, the police department is still in there. Yeah, a lot of police cars over here. I remember in the old days they had a lot of young police officers who would come through Warrensburg, and not all of them were always so friendly to young non-townies. Let's just put it that way. Meaning college students and military members quite often would find themselves on the wrong end of some negative attention. And I remember some of the older officers would kind of go around and warn people about the young guys. This is Pine Street. Notorious Pine Street. Used to be one of the #1 party streets in the state of Missouri. The university was kind of known as a big college party town. Green Truck Delicatessen, that looks interesting. And in the 70s into the early 80s, this was a hopping district. And then liquor control started getting crazy and arresting people that were drinking underage, and that put the kibosh on the partying. And also, I think people just started changing in the, believe it or not, in the early and mid 80s. The 80s wasn't as much a party time as it gets a reputation for. It was a lot of things dried up in the 80s. Literally. The 70s were much more. In Sedalia, Missouri, they had a huge concert. It was called the Woodstock of the Midwest. I believe it was, 1974 maybe? And you name the bands and they were there. And way too many people showed up, and way too many drugs and alcohol and other imbibements. And it overloaded the town and the police force, and a lot of people in this area said never again. I think it was called the Ozark something. There's a documentary about it I believe on YouTube. This is the college campus. My alma mater was called Central Missouri State University. Now is called University of Central Missouri. This is as far south as we'll go. South? Yeah, I believe it's south. If you continue on, you'll end up at Pearl Springs, but it's pretty dark and locked up right now. It used to be like a healing health spa spring kind of deal, and there used to be what they called a dummy line. Went from downtown to Pearl Springs. Dummy line is like a light rail, and I don't think it was ever electrified. I don't know, maybe it was. Boy, I wonder what that place is on. I think it's an Vietnamese place or Chinese takeout or something. But it used to be Paradise Donuts for the longest time, and they were open all night. And loved Paradise Donuts. And this is a shame here on this corner. This whole corner used to be a row of what they would call Victorian functional buildings, your typical red brick storefronts from Victorian into the early 20th century. And there was one there, a bar called the Mule Skinner. It was kind of a fun place to go, and it was right close to the campus here. But the campus owned most of the buildings, and I'm not sure if they didn't own the building that housed the Mule Skinner. And they decided it all had to go in favor of what? What do we have here now? Parking, of course. And, typical of a lot of things that are gone now. Plowed down to make room for more cars. When I went to school here, you walked across this highway on a crosswalk, and it was actually pretty dangerous. There was a crosswalk and stuff, but you had to be careful. And one time I saw a student walk across right in front of an 18-wheeler, and that truck driver should have an award for his ability to stop that thing, because he about put that thing on its nose stopping for that student. And common sense isn't always a given. This is a 13 highway, or used to be. Now it's business 13 because the town has been bypassed. They've been trying to do that since the 1950s, and they finally did that, well, I guess maybe 10 or so years ago. And I guess much to the chagrin of the people in this town, now it looks like they got it all torn up and blocked off. Hope the detour isn't for me. It's been quite a while since I've come down this way. And this was a very, very busy street when it was the main 13 highway before it got bypassed. It's still busy, still very busy, but doesn't have all the lake traffic. And what's interesting is the military traffic would come through here. And back in the 80s into the early 90s, probably until about 93, 94 or so, the military traffic included nuclear weapons. And oftentimes when they would, I don't think I'm giving away any secrets, because, the Whiteman Air Force Base is 10 miles to the east of here, and they would have the Minuteman II missiles all over the place. There's about 150 missile sites. Used to be. Now they're all gone. And when they would take a missile out of the ground, out of the silo, they would do it in two parts. The first part would be the warhead, which would contain the nuclear weapon, the nuclear warhead. And then the second part would be the actual missile body itself. And they had two different types of loaders to do that. All right, I'm going to turn left here on Business 50. And it's up in the air, which is the most dangerous part they would ship. Now, the missile, I guess it wouldn't be that dangerous, because I know that they would take all the fuel out of it before they would ship it through these towns. So I guess that would make you wonder how safe the warhead would be, because they would ship it through these areas too. But when they did, because they had a huge escort, and they would have helicopters and everything. And I think they would try to actually avoid any kind of town if they could. But it would be shipped in a special vehicle, and it would be shipped over the roads back to the base, where they would, the nuclear assurity people would make sure it gets in its storage depot. And it was a whole process, and it was very intense. And when you would see that, because it would be a huge military escort, helicopters and everything. And yeah, it's quite interesting being next to a nuclear base like that. And it also means that you were not safe. If there was a nuclear war, this would be one of the prime targets. And of course, all the people in this area would probably not live to see the next day, because there's about 150 targets out here. And we used to I always like to come down this. Most people would take 13 and get straight on the highway. They're always in a hurry to go somewhere. But I think this old road is more interesting. It's too bad we're not doing it in daylight. You can see, a lot of the stuff. Quimby pipe organs used to be around here somewhere. I'm not sure if they're still here. But they're one of the leading places in the country for repairing old school pipe organs. And I know they're still around because they did our church organ. They just repaired the Redemptorist organ, which sounds beautiful, by the way. And then over here on the left is a cemetery that the old, I forgot what, the Sunset Hills Cemetery. And I used to come here all the time and walk through and look at the graves. And there's a lot of Civil War soldiers in this cemetery. I guess Civil War was interesting in Warrensburg because I guess the story goes that they had recruits for both sides, and the Confederates would drill on the north side of the town, ironically, and the Union would drill on the south side. And then when they didn't have enough people to drill with on either side, they would go to the other side and say, hey, you want to drill with us? Which is kind of weird, interesting. I don't know if that's completely true or not, but that's a legend. And they never saw each other in battle, according to some authors. They went to separate parts of the Civil War and fought in different parts of and never met each other on the battlefield, which I guess is good because they know exactly how to fight each other because they would drill together, I guess. I don't know. And then the last point of interest in Warrensburg is Skyhaven Airport. University is got a very good aviation program, and they have their own airport up here, Skyhaven, which belongs to the university. And there was this motel up here, and sometimes college students would rent it out, and the motel was separate from the airport, but it was called Skyhaven Motel, and the college students would rent it out sometimes and have parties there. And they opened up a convenience store in the middle of it, and I'm not sure if the motel is still there or not. I guess we'll see. But there used to be like a lot of motels had their own little restaurant, a separate building, and they had their own restaurant here too. And I don't know if it was ever open when I went to college here, but eventually the building that was the restaurant became a naughty bar. Naughty meaning nude women, a strip club, and the people in the town completely hated that. There were a couple here around this town, and I think they pretty well succeeded in driving them out, and they drove this one out, or it went out of business on its own, who knows. And the building is gone, which is a shame, because I love the old motel architecture with the little restaurant and everything. Here's some of the hangars on the right for Skyhaven, although those may be private hangars, I don't know. And here's the Skyhaven Motel. Is it still a motel? Looks like it. Yeah, it looks like people have checked in too, with a big gas station in the middle of it. That's sort of old school. But the gas station was a new addition. It wasn't there when we went to college here. But anyway, 50 Highway is, if you go west, like in Nevada, it's called the loneliest road. And around here it can be pretty lonesome too, although during the day it's a very pretty drive. But it's time to get home. Since we are passing through downtown Lee Summit on our way home, I thought I would one last time do a drive-by tour, penny tour of the pretty Christmas lights they got going in this town. They've really done it up well. Here's the heart of it by the train depot. Any trains? Well, there may be one coming from... I don't see any, just the red signal lights. Very pretty. Love local. Yeah, unfortunately this is as far as you can go on the main street here. Oops. Lots of people coming in and out. A few of the stores I think are still open. there's a few restaurants open. Dance studio. Oh, looks like they're having a little Christmas party in there. Okie dokie. Let's make it on home. Going to the Filipino store to pick up Billo Billo for Luke. Yep. We're getting a late start today. Next up, Costco. Ugh. Wasn't as crazy as I thought it would be. Maybe I think a certain team might be playing. Don't know. Price Slopper. We've shopped. Oh, I lucked out on my parking spot here. All right. I got some things I'd like to get in here, and then I might check out this store after. Look at that sunset. As per the hat, still have not had my coffee yet. This is a busy little street. Well, it is the crossroads. It's not quite a little street. It used to be one of the main crossing points in the city of some major highways that go across the country, north, south, east, and west. Hence the name Crossroads. A lot of people don't know that. Matter of fact, we are a block off from the actual crossroads. This is kind of different for me. I usually don't come out this late on a Saturday night anymore. But I haven't had my coffee, and I had a little bit of Christmas shopping I wanted to do. Mainly at the art store. Get some things for the kids. Let's see about that coffee. Coffee. Myself needs his coffee. Getting ready for Christmas, the big Christmas rush. Those are in there practicing for their Christmas play.
Soon after the angels visit Mary and Joseph were married.
Messiah is Mary.
Mary was due to have a baby.
I gotta laugh at the cow sound. Luke is the shepherd. He's wearing my, I don't know what you call it, that I got from Auntie Olive back in the 70s. Zach is part of the three Mopey teams. The Christmas potluck at the church for the youth. Altar server refresher class. Zach and Luke are up there somewhere.
Dum.
The self needs coffee.
I'm petting him.
Do you have a sugar-free version of your Winter Rush? He's so wimpy.
There you go. You have a great day.
Thank you, you too.
You're welcome.
All right. Coffee. Ooh, it tastes all Christmassy. We've come to my sister's for an early Christmas dinner. We're all holidayed out.
All right.
Oh,
Wait for Jimmy.
yep.
Chubby baby. Look at her legs. She's got honker legs. Oh, baby.
Traditional Silvestri Christmas dinner, lasagna.
Big ol' slap if you want.
Picture. Picture.
One.
People laugh. Stocking time. Stockings.
Sure, she opens it and there's a bunch of broccoli in there.
Looking at the candy one by one.
Oh,
Thanks.
What's in there? But keep
opening
Messiah
presents.
from Mom to Luke from Grandpa Remy and Grandma Trish.
Oh boy.
It's obviously closed.
Maybe.
Not enthusiastic, is he?
It's exciting.
Obviously closed. To Steve from It Doesn't Tell Me.
Uh-oh.
It's most
I'm
likely.
assuming it's from this house.
Santa, you can't keep your
It looks like...
Give it to us.
Oh. It's tea.
Yeah, those are from.
Ooh, look at all that.
Is there a bracelet on there? Cool. That's pretty cool.
Another coffee cup.
The Earth.
Oh, yay!
Sapphire, yep, it's Earth one. So you can put all of them on a bracelet.
All right, let's see the damage. Saya's got a sweater.
Open box.
Zach has a sweater, but not the one he's wearing. And Suyen has a sweater she's really proud of. Are you going to model it?
I did.
For this camera.
Oh, no. Claire have a present here? Yeah.
Can I see the rest? Okay, then I got a pink little.
Okay.
Nice. That's
And you got some what? Shoes?
Then I got some snowflake.
Oh, I like that one.
And what about the shoes?
Anything else we're missing from the bag?
I don't know. Hello Kitty.
What's so special about them besides their Hello Kitty?
Hello Kitty.
What? Heelys. What's that?
They have a wheel.
Oh, wheels. Just what we need, wheels on our shoes.
Apparently we couldn't get the places fast enough, so we got some wheels on our shoes.
Here, Mom.
That's why I said.